How we going, Supercar fans? Back again doing another episode for you guys. And last weekend was the ITM Auckland Supersprint. It was actually a really good weekend. It was covered with a lot of drama, trust me about that. It rained and it was sun, and then it rained and it was sun, and it was just crazy. But all in all, it was a really good weekend. It was a very quick weekend actually, with all the racing going on. There was only one safety car during the weekend, and yeah, so 70 laps ended up like turning into like a 5-minute race. It just went so quick. But there actually isn't really that much to talk about in the recap, guys, but all the news that's happened after or during the weekend, that's kind of where I'm leading on to. But we'll get stuck into it, guys. So race 28, it was actually a really good start. One of the best starts I've ever seen by all the drivers. Not that much contact was doing. It was actually really clean until up to lap 3. Tanda hit Simona Di Silvestro, which pushed her into James Golding, and also spun Craig Lowndes. And then Tanda ended up being I think 4 laps down within the first few laps or whatever. So he was in and out of the pits all the time, which sucked. Lap 8 saw our first and only safety car of the weekend. Holsworth, Stanaway and Coulthard came out of the hairpin there, and Stanaway bumped Holsworth and put Coulthard into the wall at turn 10, and it was actually very heavy contact. Fab's obviously not having the best of times at Auckland, but hopefully all that can turn around and whatever else. That was at lap 8 too. And by lap 15, the race resumed. Todd Hazelwood got a drive-through penalty for passing on the yellow flags, so that put him out. And nothing really happened after that. And lap 60, so 10 laps to go, saw Shane Van Gisbergen pass Scott McLaughlin for the race lead. And that sort of bumped up the points a little bit more. And then during the pit stop, there was a lot of controversy about Shane Van Gisbergen's pit stop with wheel spin in the pits. Now, my reaction to that, it was very fair, and it was also very controversial as well. Shane, they had the car jacks up and whatever. They had the car up in the air, and Shane grabbed first gear and spun the wheels about, I don't know, half to a quarter, basically. And that's what they thought that it was, and it was like, no, that's fine. And just before he dropped, that's when they did the whole, wheel spin there. Now, my perspective on it is that regardless if you wheel spin cars in the pit lane, it should be a drive-through penalty regardless. Regardless of how much it turns or whatever else, it's very dangerous as well. So in part of that, the back tyres only spun, I think it was halfway or 3/4 of the way around, I'm pretty sure. Now, if you include the gear change wheel spin, that's a full rotation. Now, they only give you a drive-through penalty if it's a full rotation. Now, I thought that it got included with the gear change and then the drop, and then he wheel spinned even more, and that would have been a full rotation. But obviously the stewards look at it differently. It was all cams, race control, and not the stewards up in the thing. But Shane Van Gisbergen got a 5-second time penalty as a post-race investigation for the wheel spin in the pits. So Shane had to finish 5 seconds in front of Scott McLaughlin, which he did. But in top of that, if the wheel spin penalty would have been enforced, he would have got a 15-second time penalty after the race is done, which would have dropped him. I looked at the lap times before, and he would have dropped into 6th or 7th place, which is well clear of a massive drop to 10th or 15th or whatever. So Shane Van Gisbergen, so far, as I had so far won the race ahead of Scott McLaughlin, and Chaz Mostert got a massive third place for Tickford Racing. Now I'm just going to post up the results right here, guys. So Shane Van Gisbergen finished obviously 5.5 seconds in front. That obviously got eliminated, and he was only 0.5 of a second in front, so he was half a second in front of Scott McLaughlin. Chaz Mostert finishes third. David Reynolds had a really struggling weekend, but managed to stay in the top 10. Jamie Winkup, Scott Pye, Cam Waters, Nick Percat, James Courtney, who also struggled, and Michael Caruso. Craig Lowndes, Tim Blanchard, who actually had a really good run in practice, ended up finishing 12th. Mark Winterbottom, James Golding, Lee Holsworth, Rick Kelly, Tim Slade, Anton De Pasquale, Andre Hyde-Gardner, and then Anton De Pasquale, Will Davison, Simona Di Silvestro, Jack LeBrock, Richie Stanaway, Todd Hazelwood, Garth Tander, and obviously Fabian Coulthard with DNF. Now, with that as well, who was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about something. Oh yeah, so there was a bit of rivalry happening with only one round to go and 2 races to go in the championship this year. It's very close between Scott McLaughlin and Shane Van Gisbergen. All the mind games are starting to come in. At the end of the race, they all had to pull up on the main straight. Jamie Winkup got fined $5,000, I think, I'm pretty sure it was, for going through the pit lane and not following post-race procedures. Ended up going through the pit lane and then rejoining back on the track, where he was supposed to stay out on track and go up to the podium part. So he got fined for that, and one of the big talking points of the weekend was Shane Van Gisbergen pulling up beside Scott McLaughlin and not letting Scotty open the door. And that was actually quite funny. And the onboard footage of Scott McLaughlin's car had him like, what the hell are you doing? And then he opened the door with force, by the way, and just bang, straight into Shane Van Gisbergen's car, and then just kept doing it about 5 or 6 times after that. So it was actually quite funny. Mind games, it's really good, but yeah, whether or not he took it a little bit too far, he didn't actually know he did it until after he did it, which I don't think so. But that put him, I think it was like 2 points behind Scott McLaughlin. So it was really close. And then, guys, race 29. Again, another great start, but it had nothing, literally nothing to talk about. It was so boring. It was such a slow, painful race. Like I said, there was only one safety car during the weekend. So realistically, the only things I really talked about was on lap 44, where Waters and Percat were rubbing paint at turn 11, with Waters almost jumping up on 2 wheels, and Percat regains the position once he went into the pits. And then Nick Percat, I think after the race, had a little bit to say about Cam Waters, saying that he does this all the time. Thank God someone agrees with me. So Nick Percat sees what I see, does it all the time, and whatever else. And that was actually a really quite scary moment. You know, it's roughly around 180 k's heading into turn 11, and to go up on the side of someone, hit their back wheel, and then jump up. Literally, the front wheels literally lift off the ground, and almost, yeah, it could have been a lot more worse than that. But lap 57 saw Lowndes let Shane Van Gisbergen pass for maximum championship points. And also on lap 60, Reynolds tried to block at the hairpin, but to no avail. Shane Van Gisbergen passed Reynolds. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen was... where was he? He was actually well behind. He was in... oh, God. Jamie was in second, Reynolds was in third. So, Shane Van Gisbergen was running 5th at the time. And... to no avail, he actually ended up getting part. He had really good race pace. We'll give him that. But when it came to Triple Eight this weekend, it was very standard with the. Sorry, not standard. It was very controversial with the championship. Which brings me to the results, which I'll post up here. Scott McLaughlin ended up finishing the race in 1st place. Now, with this one. The last lap of the race, they had to make a really big decision. Now it wasn't Roland Dane's like saying it had nothing to do with Red Bull. It was just that Jamie Whincup wanted maximum championship points for Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane Van Gisbergen was 9 seconds behind Jamie Whincup heading into the last lap. Now, I did say to my father-in-law, David, and his mate David, and his son David, 3 Davids, how good is this? Yeah, so I said to all of them that I can feel, and this was like roughly around like lap 66 or something, I can feel something bad's just about to happen. Regardless of what it is, I can just feel something bad's just about to happen. And it ended up happening really, really, really in your face kind of thing. Jamie Whincup was 9 seconds in front of Shane Van Gisbergen, slowed down and let Shane Van Gisbergen pass with about 50 metres to go. And Shane Van Gisbergen ended up getting second for the race. Now, I'll go through the list of the drivers and where they finished before I actually start talking about that. So, Scott McLaughlin finishes first, SVG second, Jamie Whincup third, Craig Lowndes, David Reynolds again with another top 5. Chaz Moster again with a really, really good pace but struggled a little bit. Fabian Coulthard, big turnaround for him after not finishing in the last race. Andre Heimgardner, awesome race for him. And same with Mark Winterbottom. Nick Percat finishing out the top 10. Then we have Tim Slade, Cam Waters, Garth Tander, Lee Holsworth, Scott Pye, James Courtney, Michael Caruso, Simona Di Silvestro, Will Davison, Richie Stenaway, James Golding, Rick Kelly, Jack LeBrock, Anton De Pasquale. God, I always get those two wrong. Todd Hazelwood, and then Tim Blanchard. Now, what brings me to this part here is that it is a very, very controversial moment. It was huge. The fans could agree with me. Everyone on social media could agree with me. But we got to look at it in a different perspective. You're going for maximum championship points. You want to win the championship, and if your teammate is in a position to win the title, and all right, well, here's another example. Say they go into Newcastle and Shane's 50 points behind because Jamie Whincup finished second instead of letting Van Gisbergen pass. That's now 50 points that he's got to regain and try and win. The only way he could probably win is if he finishes first. That would be the only possible way if Shane Van Gisbergen wins the championship, if he wins twice on both Saturday and Sunday at Newcastle. Now, the whole thing about letting your teammate pass to get maximum championship points, I'm a little 50-50 about it because you're there to win. Right, you're there to get as many points as you possibly can and whatever else, or you're there to go out and just go for it. You know what I mean? Like, and for Jamie to do that, it's like he has kind of like given up, if that makes sense. Like he just sort of gave up and just handed. Like I said, you want to get as many points as you possibly can. Even though that Jamie's out of the championship, that doesn't mean that you still can't race. You know, like, if Fabs was leading, right, if Fabian Coulthard was leading and Shane Van Gisbergen was coming second, and say Scott McLaughlin was coming third, would Fabian slow down and let Scott McLaughlin pass? Hell no. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't do that because that's not only the race win that he's giving away. He's also giving away the Jason Richards Trophy. He's also giving away pride, and there's so many more things that combine that, and it all leads back to. I don't know if you guys know, but back in 2000, and I think it was 2 or 1 of them, 2002, I'm pretty sure. The Austrian Grand Prix, Rubens Barrichello, and this is Formula 1s, I'm talking Formula 1s now. Rubens Barrichello was leading pretty much every lap of the race and whatever else. Now, Rubens got a call the last lap. This is team orders too. Got a call at the last lap saying, let Michael pass for the championship. Michael Schumacher being his teammate. Let Michael pass for the championship. Now, mind you, Austria was only 8 rounds in. There's 17 or 18 rounds in the Formula 1s back in 2002. So there was plenty of time. Mind you, Michael Schumacher won the title at, I think it was like Monza. And there was like still five races to go. So, it's very, very controversial. It is a massive thing. You're there to win. You're there to do as best as you possibly can, and to let your teammate go through, that's just, yeah. I really don't see the thing. I don't really see the point of that. My mother-in-law agrees with me. My father-in-law agrees with me. A lot of other people agree with me too. You're there to win, not there to say, all right, last lap, I'm going to let my teammate pass with the title. I know it's a little, like, I could go on forever about this, but it's just, championship, yeah, I can see why. But if it was any other race, like say they did this at Bathurst, like it would have been nuts. And Redbull Holden Racing Team did not get the best of ovations when they both got out of the car for the podium celebration that day either. So it was very big. It was a very, very big moment in the sport. And I think that's what Jamie said at the press conference. The day where there's no controversy is the day that we got to start worrying. I kind of agree there, yeah, I do. But, everyone loves a little bit of controversy, and yeah. But, yeah, I think just at that point of time, it was just the wrong thing to do on Jamie's side. Because, Jamie's a fighter. And as much as people hate him and all love him, he is a fighter. He is an excellent driver, drives 120,000%. You guys know what it was like at Bathurst in 2015. Or was it 16? No, it wasn't 16. It was 14 or whatever, when he ran out of fuel and just kept going and going and going, ignored team orders. Like that's the kind of person he is. He's not only arrogant, but he is an excellent driver. But yeah, it was just the wrong time for that to happen. But guys, that is pretty much the recap. There is a lot of news I want to talk about actually coming up in just a second. But guys, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it was really, really good. I'm actually, one thing I better tell you is that I'm actually still waiting for the Surface Paradise videos to get uploaded. So I don't even know when they'll get uploaded. But in saying that, what I will do, if it doesn't get uploaded, I will just tell you the results now, because there was a lot of stuff that happened during that weekend as well. Just give me a second here. I just gotta find them. Hooray. Okie dokie, where is it, it's up top here. Alright, so we had, on Saturday, up at Surface Paradise, Jazz Mostert finishes first, Craig Lowndes finished second, James Courtney finished third, David Reynolds, Scott McLaughlin, Nick Percat, Mark Winterbottom, Cam Waters, Garth Tander, Shane Van Gisbergen in the 10, Fabian Coulthard, Will Davison, Scott Pye, Jamie Whincup, Lee Holsworth 15th, Jack LeBrock, Tim Blanchard, Simona Di Silvestro, Andre Heimgartner, Todd Hazelwood, Tim Slade, Rick Kelly, Michael Caruso, James Golding, Steve Owen, who was in Richie Stanaway's car, and Will Brown, who had a massive crash. Actually, I'll show that here. Massive crash heading out of the first couple of chicane parts there, and then that's when Steve Owen, driving Richie's car, ended up hitting him and putting him out of contention. And then on the Sunday, there was only, I think, how many laps was it? I think there was only like 12 laps or something like that. No, there wasn't that many. There was a few, but it ended up getting red flag because of the weather. It got really bad. But Shane Van Gisbergen, Jamie Whincup, David Reynolds. Well, actually, I'm sorry. This race didn't actually get classified. This is just where they finished. James Courtney, Fabian Coulthard, Chaz Mostert, Michael Caruso, Nick Percat, Cam Waters, Rick Kelly, Mark Winterbottom, Lee Holsworth, Tim Slade, Will Davison, Craig Lowndes, Anton De Pasquale, Andre Heimgartner, Garth Tander, Scott Pye, James Golding, Jack Brock, Simona Di Silvestro, Richie Stanaway, Todd Hazelwood, and Tim Blanchard. Now, they actually did not get classified. It obviously got canned before I think it was like 50 laps or something, 51 laps they had to do a minimum of before the actual classifications got happening. The track was absolutely, like, it was bad. It was like a water slide. And it ended up obviously getting red flagged just before the, I think it was on like 40 or something. And ended up getting red flagged, and then they went out and they did a couple of laps or whatever, and then they said it was getting worse. So then they red flagged the race again, and then that's when it obviously not got done. So that was that was not a good race at all. It was actually really bad, but who knows about that one. But guys, that is pretty much it. I am done the recaps, and yeah, it was actually quite fun. And Paul Dumbrell actually crashed into the wall, and that's what brought the safety car out in that race. But yeah, if they did go, sorry, oh my bad, I actually said the qualifying for that race, but Anton De Pasquale got first. Yeah, there's a lot here. I'll just rotate the camera. Hang on. I'll just let you. That was my Instagram post. I don't know if you guys actually seen that, but that was actually my Instagram post. So all the results there are on my Instagram at supercars_with_Shane. If you guys haven't seen it, the link is in the description below. So go and follow that. Also, like, share, and subscribe to this channel because this is the only supercars channel on YouTube, and I'm so glad to say that. I haven't actually really said that before, but yeah, that's first time for me. But guys, some big news, obviously heading out of Auckland this weekend. We had the departure of, that was just getting a message, still getting a message. I was told up at Bathurst that Mark Winterbottom obviously was off contract, and so was Lee Holsworth. Now, Lee Holsworth actually hasn't got a ride yet for next year, but Mark Winterbottom has at Preston Hire. He's going to Preston Hire, the yellow and black machine, Team 18 next year, and it's actually quite sad. Now, my perspective on this, that now Mark Winterbottom is a Ford man, and we all know that. He obviously isn't following the money. It is more about just getting a ride for next year. Now, if Charlie looks at it this way, what could possibly happen is that they could change the outcome from a Holden to a Ford. We've seen that with Todd Hazelwood's car this year. Yeah, so that might be a possibility as well. But yeah, Mark Winterbottom parting after so many years with Tickford, and big commitment. Massive commitment, and now finally parting as well. Now, I do have some, if you guys haven't seen it, I do have some photos of this actually just got revealed today, of the new Ford Mustang that will be racing next year at in the 2019 calendar actually. And here is the photo, guys, right here. It is gorgeous looking car, absolutely gorgeous. Now, they did a speed comparison up at Bathurst, and the car sounded really good. It sounded really good. Now, I actually can't wait for these Liberties to come out to see what their cars look like, but these cars are going to dominate next year. Absolutely going to dominate. And that's a big statement from me. It's going to be really hard to beat these Mustangs next year. We're not too sure on what Holden's going to be doing, whether or not they'll renew the ZB or go, rumour has it that they're going to want to try and get into the Chevy Camaros, but that isn't going to be happening until like 2020, and I think Gary Rogers has put his first bid in for one of them cars, but that won't be happening straight away. But the Mustangs just look unbelievable. They look really nice, and I actually can't wait. I was turning my iPad off. I actually can't wait to see these cars. They're going to look really good, but that's two big news as well. Now, I want to just clarify on something, guys. I made a mistake in the last video that I was going to do the career mode on V8 Supercars 3. I said I was going to be doing it next week. That actually was not true. I was supposed to say I'm going to be doing it next month. So in December, I'll be doing it. It'll be like the first couple of days in December, and then you'll get like one round every week or whatever. But I hope you weren't too excited to see that. I know you're excited to see it, just to see how good I am at the game and whatever else. And maybe give a little bit of a perspective on like setups and whatever else like that, because I've been playing a lot of project cars and a lot of Gran Turismo Sport lately, and I just dedicate all my time to doing these setups, and it's going to be completely different though, doing it with only a limited amount of resources on the setups. You can't change change ride height. Oh, well, you can, but it's completely different to what it is on new gen consoles. But that is going to be happening next month, guys. I'm so sorry to say. It was supposed to be said last video that it was going to be next month, but it's actually, yeah, it will be next month now. But guys, that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like it if you did. Comment down on your favorite part of the weekend or any hot topic you guys want to talk about. You know, I pretty much respond to every single comment that's on here, and I like them, and I always comment back. And regardless of who you are and what you're saying, there's always a comment back. So I like that kind of interaction that we have, that I get to talk back to you guys, because, you know, not that many people would. So, but guys, hope you liked the video. Please like it if you did. Comment down on your favorite part or whatever. Subscribe if you're new. And guys, I shall see you guys, what are we? I think it's 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks. 2 weeks on Friday, that the Newcastle 500. No, I'm not going down. I wish I was, but oh well. 2 weeks, guys, until the grand final, the last round of the Supercars. It's getting sad, and it's more, you know, but with the championship the way it is, it's super exciting. So, guys, stick around. It's going to be a really, really fun next couple of weeks. I can't wait. And I shall see you all in 2 weeks' time for the Newcastle 500 recap. It's going to be fun. Guys, have a good one. I shall see you all soon.